We all love cinema and we're here because of that. I want to actually start by asking all of you, which was the last film you saw on the big screen in a theater that you enjoyed and loved? Ashwini, shall we start with you?
God, that's a very difficult question.
I thought
Uh,
this is the
but
easiest.
the last film which I actually saw is the most recent one, Homebound, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
I just wish there were more people in the theater,
Correct.
but we need cinema like this to keep us going. And at the same time, now there's Kantara, which is released, so I would want to go and watch that too. But yeah, that's the last film which I have watched just recently. Yeah.
Lovely. We do a quick vote of hands. You guys have seen Home. Oh, so we have people here who like good cinema. Shujit, coming to you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Kantara. Homebound, of course, very good. I've seen, and I've seen F1 thrice,
Yes,
and
that's
I've seen the one battle after another,
again
and I'm going to
amazing.
watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch one
Yeah,
battle
yeah,
after the
yeah.
other. Hmm.
That's what I watched, and yes, that is amazing. A recommendation, guys, if you haven't already. Ram.
So, as a paying movie audience, not as a preview kind of show, but as a paying movie audience, the last film I saw was Sinners, which I went and saw twice. Because the first time I saw it on normal screen, then I went and saw it on IMAX. And Sinners is like something which, again, I think we're all dealing with, which is how do you make something that you want to make while reaching out within the commercial, sort of paradigms of getting people into the theater.
Sinners again gets our vote.
Yeah.
Rahul.
Well, I saw F1, loved it, and I think before that I saw Animal, and I saw a Netflix film, Chamkila, on the big
On
screen.
the big screen, of course,
because I
and
was a
we.
part of that.
Yes, and you're enjoying your stint in front of the camera. I'm going to come to that, but we'll now dive in. There's something I'll take off from what Ashwini said, which is I saw Homebound, I saw Kantara. I wish there were more people in the cinema hall, where we say the audience demands different stories, they want rooted stories. There is also the whole technology challenge with AI coming in. There is a need for newer narratives. But when that is offered, do you think you are seeing the results that you would like to see? And if not, what, you guys are brilliant filmmaking minds, but what do you think is the biggest challenge that that's not happening? Any one of you could start. Shujit, I think everybody wants you to speak first.
Uh, I don't know how to put this out. I mean, there are many kinds of films. I mean, one we call that independent films, um, and then are populist films with populist actors. Both of them work differently, I feel, So say, for example, Homebound. Let's take an example that she said. Um, what a brilliant film. It has done so well. Some great filmmakers, backed by such a big production house. Uh, so what I've seen, my experience of this is uh, that these kind of films, if these kind of films had, you have to take it to the audience. You need to find a right distribution system where you have, for example, say for example, South Bombay is considered as a intellect, home. I mean, part of Mumbai. So, for example, let me tell you another example is in Delhi. When I was growing up, there was this theater named Shakuntalam, and all the world-class films, including
Yeah.
Indian films also, even the Indian filmmakers from Ray and Mrinal Sen and Tapan Sinha and Mr. Benegal, all films were shown there. So those shows were more or less full. So there was one dedicated hall which was given to these independent films, I think. So I think we'll have to find those pockets where we can release these independent films, what we call little out of the box where, so that study is very important. You can't just make a film and just release it everywhere.
Right.
Because I think the problem is not, I mean, in my case only, I'll tell you, the problem is not about the theater when it's full. Problem is when the theater is empty. So that's when it hits you. The balance sheet is then, reverses because it goes tilted more towards the empty hall.
Right.
So I think it's finding the right audience and pockets, which in today's time you can do, and you can release them. You can't just generally release them.
Right.
Especially I'm talking about these films like Homebound and these independent films. बाकी पॉपुलिस्ट फिल्म के लिए तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अच्छी कहानी होगी तो चले ही जाएंगे लोग.
The spec.
medium and how they're viewing cinema or even stories per se. Like before the newspaper hits, people know on social media there's a news there, So that's how quick the news is, and that's how quick people's attention span is to know news, which is worth accommodating to themselves. Similarly to movies, when they see a trailer and if they are aware that this is the director of the film, or this is the music of the film, or this is what it is, then they're already made up their mind whether they want to watch the film or they don't want to watch the film. I think that's what my my research in terms of how audience is looking at films. So a film like Sayyara, with two new actors, but very talented ones, but with an amazing director like Mohit Suri, who has a track record of getting real depth characters in terms of falling in love, romance, young romance, and beautiful music, has an eye for the audience. So that time it is not about who's the actor or what is the size of the film or anything. It's just purely the sheer joy of going and watching this film in theater.
So do what you're good at, but do it with conviction.
Yeah,
is-
do it
is
with
another-
conviction is because I feel that the audience is very smart. They at one go know whether they want to watch this film in theaters or they'll wait for it to come on a platform. And they look forward. So how much ever we try to sell or oversell our stories, the audience has already made up their mind whether they want to watch this film or not.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
my
Right.
reading. Yeah.
Ram, you want to come in here?
I'm just going to share some figures, okay?
Okay.
Because which is like I'm one of those people who prepares because otherwise I feel very nervous. So what's happened from what from the reading that I have done is that between 23 and 24 we've had about a 6 to 8% drop in cinema, okay? But OTT has gone up by 50 to 60%, okay? SVOD is actually remained the same, and in fact is reducing. So more people are going on to YouTube, but less people are paying.
Right.
We've now heard the IMDb report, which says that the star factor is not what it
It's not what
used
it-
to be.
yeah.
We now know that the story diversity that is there within our country is now growing more and more in just the diversity of what the stories are. Now, this means that what do filmmakers like us do? Because we're in some ways been carving our own commercially experimental work, if I may call it that.
We were called the middle cinema
Yeah. So
filmmakers.
and it's
so,
good
yeah.
that you've got people like us on stage because. So how is there any hope? Okay, what do we do? Am I going to make my next movie? So the good news is that at least from where I'm coming, in the last 3 or 4 months, there seems to be an excitement. Okay, so whoever I'm meeting, whether it's producers or actors, उन लोग को picture बनानी है. Okay, this is a big deal. It wasn't there last year. This year, people want to make movies. The other thing is that, from what the IMDb report tells me, directors and writers are the new architects of cinema. So, and not the stars.
Wow.
Okay, now that's a report that is telling me this. So I said, अच्छा, ये उन लोग ने research किया है कि there is some value for us.
So we have the stars
That's
on
why
stage
we need to have
today.
Instagram and Twitter accounts also.
Yeah. So there is hope. Then there's telling me that look, there is cultural impact which is long term. Okay, which is the top movie right now is Gangs of Wasipur. Okay, and therefore, or it's something which has been re-released in theaters. So that means there is some long legs which are happening over here. Now, if this conversation, which is something that I'm hearing, starts becoming part of public knowledge, okay, then what happens is there is hope. And the algorithmic suggestions that you're getting are telling you to become part of what we all come from advertising. And we were making ads which were part of what they said was water cooler conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, कि तुम्हारी ad जो है ना hit होनी चाहिए, कि आप जब पानी और कॉफी जब पीते हैं तब वो public बात करती है कि नहीं. And I think more and more we are now going into films which are part of cultural conversations. And so if I have to make something now, and I'm looking at backcasting, I'm not looking at forecasting, I'm not looking at what I want to make necessarily only, I'm looking at what is it that you want to see while I'm looking at what I want to make, then I'm feeling that I better make it community theatre. कि पब्लिक जब थिएटर में जाना चाहिए तो उन लोग को सीटी मारनी चाहिए. They need a public hall experience. It can't be an indie private experience. So this is all that I've been, sort of gathering and hearing. And I think that therefore the crossroads, which is what the subject of today is, the crossroads of where we are is actually extremely promising.
Okay. We have established that, right? So that's a positive note.
Yeah.
Rahulji, I'd want you to come in here.
Well, I resonate with what Ram said. He spoke about hope. होप तो बहुत ही ज़रूरी चीज़ है. होप की वजह से हम सब लोग बैठे हुए हैं यहाँ पे मंच पे आज. बट ये होप कहाँ से आता है? होप आता है because we want our voice to be heard. Essentially, that's the reason why I'm guessing that's why we've all become filmmakers. We, when I was after quitting journalism and branding and all of that, when I wanted to become a filmmaker and I produced my first film, Sahi Biwi Aur Gangster, उस समय NRIs के लिए फिल्में बन रही थी. And I wanted to basically say something that resonated, the kind of storytelling that resonated with my roots. Small town, etc. And hence I became. So I think अपनी आवाज़ और अपने एक्सप्रेशन को पकड़ के रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. I also resonate with what Ashwini said, that see, end of the day, जो ऑडियंस है वो बहुत ज़्यादा समझदार है. वो सूंघ लेती है कि अच्छी फिल्म कौन सी है, बुरी कौन सी है, या अच्छी बुरी रहने दो, उनके जहन में अच्छा और बुरा क्या है. And I think that is the reason when they watch the first teaser or the trailer, and hence the communication is very important, I feel. That whatever that you feel that आप क्या बोलना चाह रहे हो, वो at least it should be communicated, and if it is communicated well, you will get your audience. Shuji spoke about finding, customization to that level where you find a particular theater for a particular audience. I think वो मेरे लिए थोड़ी दिक्कत की चीज़ है, because मैं इतनी customization नहीं कर सकता. End of the day, I want to say something, and I want the whole world to listen to it. I mean, I'm greedy.
Yeah.
So now I don't know whether I will be able to succeed or not, but I will try my best as a filmmaker that the characterization is rooted, that the narrative. कुछ चीज़ें जो हैं, ये तो experts यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, they also happen to be one of my favorite filmmakers, all three of them. But what I'm saying is, and hence the narrative and the characterization and the triumph of the human spirit and all of that is very important. And the South films doing so well, the changing palette of the audience. Also, the genesis lies in the changing behavioral patterns in the pandemic. We all know that.
Right.
So these are the challenges, but end of the day, a film you come out with has to be from that conviction that ये मेरी आवाज़ है और मैं ये I am there to entertain, because end of the day हम कोई पढ़ाई लिखाई करने तो आए नहीं हैं, because end of we also want to engage and we also want to entertain, and people are ready to be entertained. I don't think that they want any homework to be given to them. So if we are entertaining them, they'll come out and watch our films.
Definitely, when a story is decided and we want to see how we are approaching a story which comes to us, or we have an idea, because we have choices right now, we definitely do screen. I do screen whether this is a film which I would want to make it for a platform, or this is a cinematic approach as a theater, theatrical approaches, because I feel happy that at least you have the choice right now. And because the choice is that I may have a beautiful idea, and that idea would be suitable for an audience who can come onto a platform at their will. So I don't have to force them to come to the theater. But there would be a film which would be a spectacle, or something which is maybe so beautiful that I want it to be as a theater release, is because it is a community viewing, and it needs that kind of first half and second half and the break in between. And that time I know that I would want my audience to come there and watch that film in a theater and spend that kind of time. We also need to remember that gone are the days where there was only one form of entertainment. Now there are multiple forms of to get out of their homes because they're playing games there, and that is also a form of entertainment. We have sports, which is a huge form of entertainment, and
So you're
thanks,
competing with a lot of other things for
yeah,
attention.
and thanks to our country, who is like kind of like really getting into the whole idea of sports and sports viewing, and so much is happening. It was just not cricket. Now there's football also.
Correct.
And there is Olympics also, and there's women cricket team also. So everything is a form of entertainment. Plus there are amazing restaurants, and plus there are lots of malls. So when there are lots of malls, what do? What's a pattern? The pattern is that you go to a mall, you will shop a bit, then you need to go and have dinner, and
Yeah.
then you might go and watch a movie, or watch a movie and then go have dinner. And then there's a gaming zone in the mall also. Plus you have to adhere to the traffic.
So it's hard. It's
It's
scary.
hard. Plus you have work. So imagine and the decision makers, for me, I do feel, I may be completely wrong in my assessment, but I do feel that the younger audience are the decision makers of the house. Like they will quickly tell us, जाना है कि नहीं जाना है, ये इसको बाद में देख लो.
What are you asking? OTT
Sorry,
versus.
and to add, we also have the reels which people need to make, and that also
I
is
was
a
going to come to that.
and the form of
Yeah,
entertainment,
yeah.
plus the food reels which people see, plus the memes which people. So basically, there's so much to see.
I'll make a mental note to come back to reels, but Shurjeet, over to you.
Uh, if you particularly talk about cinema, I think it's a very subjective thing. It depends on, for some people, they need to watch everything every day. For some people, it's just a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For some people, one film, I mean, I'm talking about myself. If I have seen a film, I need to soak in that film for some time. I can't watch a film right now, and I choose my films, and I watch that film, and I really want to soak in there, and I want to stay with that film for maybe weeks, maybe months. I may not touch any other film during that time, just that to have to watch, because I need to live with it. So there are many patterns of audiences. So I am also an audience in that sense.
Correct.
But as she said that there are many other forms of entertainment, there might be. But I think for filmmakers like me, we also need to decide what I am making. All my films were meant to be cinematic, to be for cinema, for a community viewing. That's what I have grown with. But last two of my films went straight into OTT. But then when it went straight into OTT, Sardar Udham and Gulabo Sitabo, what I saw a difference that it reached so many people
Correct.
through OTT, which was not in the case when it was just releasing otherwise in the theater, right? So I got that exposure
Right.
to that. So when I am making a film, I first, as I said, I'm then making a film. I don't decide where I am going to put it out. So far, I have not been able to. But if the choice comes, I mean, in future that, I have to take a decision that where it might go, I have experienced both now. So it'll all depend where I am. But every film has got, mostly people make for a cinematic experience. So that experience is, I think, a must for a filmmaker to experience. If not, then definitely OTT is there to fall back.
But for an industry that celebrates success, you all have managed to hold on to your authentic uh, voice. Is that a challenge? Is that your stubborn conviction that you don't want to change, or it is never threatened? It's never threatened with the medium.
So I'll give you nice some examples on this. I mean, I've been lucky that some of my films where I started with an independent thought, but some really good populist actors agreed to work on
Yeah,
it. Then I molded myself into a little populist zone somewhere in the crossroad, what you call. So that happened with Piku and everything else. But I started as an independent film because I've grown up watching them. Now, what happens is that that challenge is always there in every film that you make. It's not that I've made Piku and then I didn't had a trouble making October. I had. So you make October, then you again face a trouble making Sadardam. So that choice and difficulty is always there to make. Nothing decides. Your film this Friday does not decide that the next Friday what's you're going to be. It's going to be a difficult choice anyway.
Ram, with your emotional intelligence that comes through with the projects that you make, you also as well?
So, and when we made Nirja, I was told, Ram, ये है ना 4-quadrant picture है. So I said, यार ये 4-quadrant क्या होता है? Because then I was told it's young, old, male, female. Then they said, ये क्या है? ये कांदिवली से कोलाबा picture है. So I said, अच्छा कांदिवली से कोलाबा है. Then I got started into this kind of conversation, and now I'm saying कि I have my own phrase which says मैं मौसा जी के लिए बनाऊंगा और क्लासा जी के लिए भी. मौसा जी and क्लासा जी.
Klasa ji, okay.
So now I want to reach out desperately. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it when people like my work. I don't like it when they don't like my work. My self-worth is dependent entirely on how good you think I am. So am I good? No, you're bad. Why am I bad? Because you told me I'm bad. Acha, then, in this business, if I make something that I liked, but you didn't like it, or 99% of people didn't like it, does that make my work bad? And we're in the business of wanting validation. And that validation sometimes is commercial, sometimes it's critical. And out of the 4 kinds of successes that there are, which is, let's say, you get commercial success, which is financial, critical success, personal success, and let's say that you get something which is not necessarily commercial. I mean, you get commercial, but you don't get, it's not something that you wanted to make, but still, wow, this is a hit. Okay. I think all of us have managed, actually, at our best work, we have managed these 4 successes. It's because of that reputation that we are sitting here today. And it is because we've also managed our own failures or work that didn't quite reach out. But I feel bad when people my work. I want you to like it.
I'm sure that there aren't many days when you feel that because touch wood.
I think we're all in the business of, trying to make our own work and yet try and see how you like it.
Yeah.
I think because we come from advertising and we respect advertising in some ways. We all believe that that is where we began to respect the audience. So,
Lovely. Rahul, you have want their work to reach the audience. His self-worth is dependent on how much they like what they make.
yeah, like I keep saying, is the measure of my worth that I went for a walk, or is the measure of my worth the work that I do?
Yeah. So how important is then not just finding the right audience, but to be able to market your film in a way that people take notice? Is that something that now, I mean, do filmmakers now need to think like entrepreneurs, where they also have to understand the business side of work?
See, I think cinema is, as we all know, is 50% creativity and 50% business. So, and the balance of that is something that all of us aspire for. Marrying good content to box office success. That's the mantra which everybody looks for.
Otherwise, you don't get to make your next film.
Yes, exactly.
It's as simple as
you
that.
know,
You're dead.
Yes. what do? I try to make good content and marry to. So these
Yeah.
are the two things. Like I said earlier, I think the positioning and the communication is important. But before that, उसको भी मैं आगे की स्टेज मानता हूँ. सबसे पहले तो I think your material. I don't like to use this word, but the material is very, very important.
Content.
Is the content, and then after that, what do you call that content? So I think if you can in a one line explain to people, I'll give a small example. I'm just going back to my first film, but this really worked for me. If I would have told guys in 2011 is when Sai BB Gangster came that कि जी मैं एक film बना रहा हूँ जो which is about some guy and his wife runs away with the driver. People would have said this guy's gone mad. So I just said that this is an ode to Sai Bibi or Ghulam, one of my favorite films, and the title was Sai Bibi or Gangster. So I think that worked, and the trailer worked, and then of course the content worked. So I think everything is important, but primarily just because you package something well and then it'll only because of that it'll do well in the long run, I don't believe that. So the content has to be great, and of course after that the communication, all your marketing units have to be good. We have instances where some of the films have been great, but then the trailer was, people saw the trailer and said, ye kya hai? And then later on, by the time they realized that the film is actually good, I think too much of time was wasted and the movie went away. And then later on, when we saw it on OTT or later on, in maybe the second release, there are a few instances like that. So I think it is important that the title of the film, the positioning, how you market it, and that is where what Shujit said, going to the right cinemas. I think choosing your territories and choosing how many screens where, and also that's an entire distribution kind of a thing, which helps in reaching out to the audience and in distributing the film well. But
I've just done a virtual reality experience on AI, which is a 5-minute short film on Bhagavad Gita, which was done on AI because in this attention deficit economy, what better way but for you to immerse yourself in a VR experience. And at Ram Madhwani Films and Equinox, we are embracing it, okay? Because I'm finding it useful, and to me, it's just another technology. And at some point, I'm hoping that we'll get an AI sentient being on stage with us, who will be then talking about how is it that you humans, and therefore, and then we'll become, instead of racists, we'll become speciesist, that we don't like the species.
I think there's a short film idea right there. But,
There's a film there.
On AI, I think enough has been said. A lot of discussions are already on the platform and everywhere. So I have nothing to
so
add
we have
there.
no choice but to live
Nothing
with
to
it.
add there. I mean, it's as whatever he said, it's he's embracing it. So we all, seeing where we
an
can
option.
find. Yeah.
The internet was the first time when we said, oh, what is the internet? Now, 25 years later, whatever, everybody's saying, oh, what is AI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of getting used to it. So, yeah.
To move with the times and stay
I
updated.
think coexistence will be an important part of AI and AI. I'm also AI. So AI and AI has to coexist. But the one thing which I do know is that technology has always been a part of our lives from the longest time. Whether it started
In fact,
off with
the root word of the word technology is from techne, which means art. It's a Greek
Yeah.
word. Techne means art.
yeah.
So we better embrace it.
Yeah, so it is about how, it's not about it's there now, what's going to happen. It's about how we embrace it, coexist with it, and how do we know how to use it. The most important thing is to how to use it in the right way for us to coexist with it.
Yeah.
So if I can use AI to help me visualize something which I cannot go and shoot at that point of time. There was a time when we used to illustrate that.
Yeah.
Right? We used to storyboard it. We used to storyboard it because we needed to show that this is how it can happen. But now, instead of storyboarding, which we do the same thing, but instead of drawing, we do it in AI. But in doing it in AI also, you need illustrators and artists to put the right command and to understand shade and light and to understand how things will move, to understand camera work.
They're called
Everything
prompt engineers.
prompt
Yeah.
engineers,
To have
right?
the right
so
prompt,
to have the
correct,
right prompt. So if it is about how to use it in the right way. But the one thing which I'm not sure, and I think Sujita and I had this discussion when we were in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, sorry, was that as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I have a voice. I forget everything else, but when the character and the director is standing in front, it is like me talking to you, and there is something called an emotion, there's something called taking out an emotion. Um, it's like looking at a photograph and feeling whether there is a photograph of rain and imagining the fragrance of rain. Will AI be able to do that? Is my big question mark. Maybe a few years later, but for the moment, I'm happy that one thing which maybe is still strong in with me is taking out performances and taking out emotions out of characters, out of actors. If that also can be automated, but how much can it be automated?
The only thing is ki on AI, the ethics and the legalities, that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be recalibration. मुझे लगता है legalities will be very difficult to figure out. It will be individual and subjective basis पे होगा because it can't be general legalities हो नहीं सकता उस पे
And I'm
AI
also
में.
very happy that platforms do take a stance, like when we are presenting things or even when we are presenting our ideas. The criteria is that directors cannot use AI to showcase look, feel, and everything. So you can show photographic images or something, but not to use AI. So I think that's a good step to understand, because it's not we are almost clashing with our own ideas then. So where is my idea as a maker?
Yes, Shuji.
Yeah, just remembered. I was talking 3-4 days back because this is a good platform, Fiki, and we are talking about how to get the audience in and make them watch films. So when I passed out of college and struggling, in Kolkata, there were cinema theaters like Empire and Globe. So in the lobby, they had a bar. So I would go in, take one drink, into the theater, watch the film. In the interval, I come out, another drink. I go see the second half, come back, another drink, and discussing the film, we go back home. So I think in Fiki, I tell them, please get a bar in the film lobby.
I think a lot of
See,
people.
th- th-
Stuti,
so
you
this
know,
is-
AI can't
I'm
do
just
that.
going
Only
to
Shuji.
take bet you on so many occasions. Like the one thing which you were asking Ram and Sujit is like, what excites you most because we have been thriving for so many years, is that even if I talk to you, and the first thing is like your smile and your thing कि यार तेरी film आ रही है मैं ज़रूर देखूंगी. That's what keeps us going in the sense that we all have a unique voice. So we may go wrong, we may be right, but we still have a unique voice. And each of the directors who are there have a unique voice, and they come with that voice. So next time you hear, okay, Ash, tu kya bana rahi hai? And when I say, okay, fine, there's a film coming up, you're at least looking forward to it. And that is the validation I think we all seek for. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On that note, time's up. We'll end this session. You guys.
Thank you for all your
Thank you. It's
interest and
absolutely
questions.
wonderful being.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. This session truly has been a masterclass on filmmaking and knowing your audience, reminding us all the power of stories to reflect, reshape, redefine our world, and also how AI will bring a We'll now proceed to the next session.